Welcome to the 2024 PDGA Masters Disc Golf World Championships. From Emporia, Kansas, this PDGA Major brought to you in part by friends at Gatekeeper Media and Ace Run Pro. After all, they're the guys out there in the heat catching this footage. Grant Zellner and Jennifer Allen. Jennifer, you're out in the heat creating this footage at Peter Pan Park on day number 2. What was the weather like? I know the wind started to pick up.
Yeah, the wind did pick up, but to me, that took away the humidity. The humidity was nothing compared to the previous day. So it felt pretty good out there, just a little breezy.
There's a shot for you. Anybody flinch?
He trusted that net.
Ohn Scoggins out to a quick 6-throw lead after day number 1. Jennifer, you and several others in hot pursuit as we head to the infamous Peter Pan Park. Hole number 1, 312 feet, a par 3.
Yeah, so you can choose to go over the fence or around the left side here, keeping it safe away from all the other OB because that ballpark is the only thing that you could get an extra stroke. Cute little basket right there. Man, the footage was shot in just the perfect time of day.
That golden hour. I love it.
First on the tee in the FP40.
Very strong relationship right here.
FP40 division. Your leader at 9 strokes under par from Los Angeles, California, Ohn Scoggins.
So Ohn, dominant forehand player. A lot of this course really sets up to the forehand shots. Going around, I guess both courses, going around some ballparks. Catching a few little branches. Gonna drop her outside circle 2.
From Gilbert, Arizona, Jennifer Allen.
I checked the wind 4 times and it changed every single time. And I had actually, during practice, always took the straight turnover shot there, but with the wind, it was kind of picking up a right to left. So I decided to go ahead and throw the hyzer shot because pretty much just drill those trees and it's going to drop somewhere around there. It's not really an open shot on that side, but it does keep you close.
It is a world championship after all from Estonia. Kaire Tekku.
And she has so much power and distance, but this one unfortunately was let go just a little low. She's still going to have a big look.
40 division and the last person to tee off today from St. Thomas, Ontario, Canada. I think I'm going to butcher this, but I'll get it right. Sandi Hendel.
Jason trying hard to say everyone's name correctly.
The struggle is real.
And such a beautiful line. Getting the distance around that one tree right in the middle that catches a lot of people. Found a little Canadian flag for her. We have George Sappenfield over here watching us tee off from the Hall of Fame. Lots of people that came out to support us, which is always nice. Couple little pitch shots up. Sandy's gonna give everything today a run. Like, she is just this great player that just attacks the basket. Wasn't ready for the tailwind.
It was a very swirling wind. I was out at several locations yesterday and noticing how it was impacting things as people would expect in Emporia. That's always the story.
Right, exactly.
So it just took a day, it showed up a day late.
Mm-hmm.
Tap ins all around and a par frame to start.
And this, I think, is kind of a tricky hole to really get some good drives to. So I think if you're going to get the birdie, it's going to come from a big putt on this hole. We're a little fired up. This is such a good card. Like, the personalities on this card are incredible. Hole number 2, 372 feet. This is a par 3. You can take the direct line to try to get maximum distance through that gap, or go ahead and take the big hyzer route around the outside, but you're going to lose a little distance. And this one is one you kind of need every feet if you're really going to try to attack it and get the birdie.
You guys really need to try to start having fun at your job.
You know, they say you play good golf when you have fun.
They do say that.
Mm-hmm.
Ohn to the backhand, and it's been a story. It's come up a lot in FPO Disc Golf Pro Tour events, how Ohn has been adding a little bit of distance on her backhand.
Playing every single day, so she's building up those muscles. I switched discs because the wind picked up to try to go stable and flip it over, but I should have just went ahead and went the hyzer on the outside, but I did not throw that in practice one time because we didn't have these winds. They were always a left to right, which she hits that turnover line great. Again, just a little low, and the grass out here is so thick. So really hard to get some ground action. Sandi, our lefty, getting full distance on that one.
To Ohn, another flick up shot.
She is so pinpoint accurate on those. And I'm like, you know, it is the shot. You are right. And I usually always forehand the putter, but I knew the wind was just too strong for that. So I actually step up to the Toro, which I never do. Calvin does it, right? So it's got to be good. So it worked out.
You proud of me? That wasn't a putter.
Ohn confirming that is the shot for that.
Thanks, Ohn. Kaire. Also a nice little up there.
And I don't know how much wind Sandi's used to playing in. I feel like it gets windy up north, right? So she's probably used to playing in some wind. They are not used to this heat, though, I can tell you that.
No, they're not. And you're not the first person to mention that. I've had a couple of different European in particular players, but also one or two Canadians. This was on day one when it wasn't as hot.
But it was humid.
It was humid,
so
that's
humid.
right. And they were talking about how, for them, it takes some getting used to.
Oh, for sure. I found out that the Europeans were over at the DD shop putting indoors because they, want to get some putting practice, but they don't want any more heat outside.
In a backyard kingdom, not so different from your own. A prince of southern royalty was born of a plastic stone.
Here we are at hole number 3, a 297-foot par 3.
Yeah, 2 ways to attack this hole as well, which is nice to always have options. So you can take a little hyzer route over there on the right side, but the more open, probably direct line is this left side. Just make sure you get underneath those branches.
I like what I'm seeing in terms of subtle elevation changes so far at Peter Pan. Nothing dramatic, but just enough that it lessens the ceiling or creates a situation where the ground comes up to meet the disc. You've got to account for it.
Peter Pan is a great kind of golf course. Like it's not the park, kind of brings in some more challenging golf shots in the normal layout. Unfortunately, you're about to see us start changing some of the holes here coming up because of the flooding. And that wind was just kind of starting to lift things up. Again, we haven't really been playing in the wind. So first couple holes is like kind of getting used to that, which is weird. I mean, I'm used to the wind, but we did not throw any practice shots in this kind of wind. And I'm changing disc on every hole too. These are not the whole, these are because of the wind, you're going to change your stability out here. So I think we're all just taking these first few holes to get used to that. You can see that kind of tried to lift Sandy's as well, but definitely lifted some of the other ones. Sandy getting up there just inside circle's edge. So kind of uphill with a tailwind. I knew I literally just needed to throw it straight up in the air and maybe it would fall in.
Perfect.
The elevator on that, I was like,
Is that our first birdie of the round for the cars?
Yeah, maybe. Warning, it's not going to be the only one.
Duly warned.
Because Sandy and Ohn start going off on some putts. Actually, they all do. Like, you know, being putting's not my strong game. Trying to keep up with these ladies, I mean, like, they're incredible putters. Like, you're about to start seeing some huge putts here. So warning, stay tuned. Hole number 4 is, I ranged it about 315 feet. This has changed. We typically go down the tunnel and it's an incredible shot, but we're gonna be tucked up over here behind this small bushy tree and you'll see the basket right there. So again, forehand is definitely available, but this one does let the hyzer come in as well. See that Mando sign? That is not in play because we're not playing the normal hole. We're on the drop zone placement.
And again, for those that maybe missed round 1 coverage, we talked about the weather in the area over last weekend rising the creeks, and that necessitated a lot of tweaks to some of the courses here and there to get away from where the water was rising.
We thought this hit the basket from the tee, so I was excited to kind of see, because it looked like from the basket that the disc changed direction. So we're like, man, it had to have hit the basket or hit something up there, but it didn't. Just a great shot. Going with a Cayman.
Beautiful line.
Thank you. Goals for aces out here this
Yeah,
week,
why
right?
not?
We're trying to get, my goal is multiple. If I don't get one, I'm going to be very sad because I want 2.
2 this week or 2 on
2 this week.
the lifetime resume? What are we talking about?
No, 2 this week.
Okay.
I've had 2 this week, but in practice. So
I gotcha.
I want
Okay.
2 during the round. I'm going to make them count. Like this one right here. Good height coming in. And that's going to give her a great look. What's funny is not
Look at
that putt.
this.
That is not funny. That is incredible. Like, I told you, we're about to have a putting
I
show.
did not believe you. You're exactly right.
I know,
Wow.
like, I don't think she thought, I mean, I think she thought, I'm going to run this, but I don't think she was like, man, I'm making this, you know? But after a few of those, I think she does think that.
I'm going to make this. Right.
She had Ohn saying, wow. And that, you know, that takes a lot, right? But what's funny is, you know, with some of these holes being changed, there's still par 4s on holes that are not par
Right,
4s.
sure.
So we didn't realize until the last couple of days that, like, wow, we get ace and albatross. Like, we could make this really cool because these are par 4s that we're acing. Taking my time, don't want to mess up this big drive here. Really wanted to turbo, but I have not been turboing. But it's like, man, I just don't want to mess up a park job.
Well done on the decision making there.
Yeah, I know.
Good job. Hole number 5 listed at 250 feet. Look at this.
I think it's around 200.
It does look like it's a little bit
Yeah,
shorter than that
it's-
to
I
me.
ranged about
but
200 feet.
The main feature, obviously, this tunnel.
Which you do not have to go through. But
So much
the
fun.
tree branches there on the right side of this big cottonwood do come into play to where it makes the hyzer very difficult. So the more appropriate or preferred line is going to be this left side for our forehanders.
I think if you go through the tunnel, you should get a -1.
For sure. Because, I mean, I didn't even try it. I told Ohn, I was like, Ohn, there's a triple Mando, and she believed me.
Okay.
So she was like,
That was
oh my
the
God,
laughter.
So going a little soft Mako, but because I have to throw it so soft, it does hyzer out.
I thought that was going to keep turning.
A little 30-footer there. I thought Sandi was going to go up the middle
No,
for a
it's
second.
perfect
I
for a
really did.
lefty. Just a nice little soft hyzer, which is the same for all these forehands, but just a natural hyzer for Sandi. Incredible drive there. And that's kind of the hard thing is like these holes are kind of like little weird distances. So it's what distance matches the player, right? Like, and their disc. So another awesome putt from Sandi.
Every putting distance is matching that player.
Yes.
She's hitting it all. Okay.
Well, I'm trying to keep up. I'm telling you, like, the pressure these girls are putting on me, like, it's exhausting. Like, we're just supposed to be throwing frisbees, right? Like, because you know Ohn's going to make it.
Right. Sure.
Yeah, this was, like, probably the strongest starting few holes I think I've played on in a round in a really long time. Yes, the distances are short, so this becomes a putting game. But, yeah, there's some great putts to start this round.
Nobody is immune to a course like Northwood Black.
Just throwing laser beams.
That's so good.
Bresnell, the birdie, the fist pump.
Critical shot.
Gotta get up. Bresnell.
That is a shot of a champion.
Your 2024 Champions Cup winner, Andrew Bresnell.
Hole number 6, 226 feet. And I want to say this was maybe around 200 feet as well. This is a new shot that they have added. The OB does come into play very quickly, more on the right side or directly behind this basket. It does open up a little bit down the hill on the left side, but trying just to toss something up. As you can see, that the OB is right there. So don't go long, but you also don't want to be too short because then you're putting straight into the OB as well.
Ohn up first.
And these are just kind of perfect distances for that forehand of hers. She does get lucky, and that stays just in front of the OB line. So from destroyer, no, that was probably a Firebird. Firebird to putter here. And that's the difficulty with the backhand is it's a touch shot. You know, you really just got to drop it down on the distance versus the little spike lefty hyzers. And with a little bit shorter grass or not so thick of the grass is so thick right now being the wet spring, Sandi would have got a skip that might have really looked at the basket. I'm okay with that. Safe.
Good little run right
Yeah.
at the OB though.
Yeah, because you got to really get the height. And if you get height and miss the basket, this is what happens, unfortunately.
Oh, boy.
It's just right behind. I mean, it's not a bad putt. She's 5 feet from the basket. So it's just unfortunate. So you have to really kind of decide if you're going to run it, you better make it. If not, you know, don't risk it. Another great birdie for Sandi. And Ohn gets hers into. Asking if she ate some chicken for dinner. She's getting all those birdies.
8 birdie for last. I was trying to figure out the
Yeah.
context. Now I'm
Yeah.
with you. Okay, that's funny. Hole number 7, listed at 320 feet for this par 3.
I think it ranges at 325, so that's about right. This is one of the normal holes. Locals call it Monkey Island. So you have to throw it up, try to get it around this little tree here that's starting to get big and catch a lot of disc. That might be trouble in a few years, but get around that tree and make sure that the disc stays inside this concrete wall.
What was this
It
building
was a
originally?
zoo. It was a monkey. It was the monkey
It was
house.
literally the, okay.
Yeah, it was a zoo. Ohn going to the backhand. And like I said, this tree is just in the perfect line. So if that tree gets bigger, which it will, that's going to really make this hole more difficult, because it's a pretty tricky line anyways, especially for the lefties. To get this to turn is a pretty difficult shot. The lefties have to really challenge the pond, which is right here, and get it over that small bush on the left side, and that's risky.
You're going high.
Going high, trying to drop my T-bird in. Find some ground play, unfortunately.
Yep. But you're safe.
Yes.
This is interesting.
Yeah, so she's going, like I said, that lefties really have to challenge the pond, but she gets enough nose up angle that it just dumps it. So incredible drive.
A little bit of creativity on display.
I'm curious
here.
if Ohn will try it the next time we have to play here. Instead, she's like, let me throw it in from 100 feet drop zone.
Drop zone Ohn.
And I love that Sandy's just trying to match anything Ohn does.
Well, she's got the confidence, seeing 2 or 3 go in from deep early on in the round.
Yeah.
Expect to see that continue.
So unfortunately, this goes a little long, and it was funny. I almost wish I wouldn't have warmed up into the wind, because I warmed up some short ones into a headwind, and they all lifted over the basket. So I was like, man, just don't make this fly over the basket. So gonna go short left, but not this one. Tailwind putts are a little easier.
First birdie, I think, of the round. Is that the emotion we're seeing?
No, she's hit some birdies.
We've got a star framer in there.
She's
just excited.
It was a great putt. I mean, this is a challenging hole. I don't know the numbers, but I bet there wasn't a ton of birdies on this hole.
Well, we practiced. We went over to that Flint College.
Telling her I'm definitely nervous of those headwind putts. And it's funny because I used to love the headwind putts in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'm kind of low-key, like, paranoid.
To the 8th now, 298 feet, par 3.
Yeah, so this one, a couple of different ways you can go. Just main thing is try not to hit any of these trees, but you can go straight at it. There you see the basket tucked in the shadows, or the hyzer line over to the right side, trying to miss that little cedar and cut it in front. No really OB danger, just the street, and the main thing is just trying to miss the trees. This is a fun little hole. Like, there's a lot of nice little golf shots out here on the normal layout.
Kaire with the box.
Yeah, and she's taken the flex line, and it doesn't come all the way back in, but beautiful drive.
Went right up the middle. One tree to miss, and you found it.
Yeah.
It's so high. It's so like.
Everybody talking about that tailwind pushing the discs down. Sandi. Pin high. Great shot.
This is kind of out of the range, and I was worried with the tailwind that I could get the putter there that far. Probably should have went with the forehand, but I'm just trying to learn to trust that.
I gotcha.
Ohn's just like, I'm just going to toss it up there.
Right on
Let
line.
it go in.
Mm-hmm.
Darn koozies.
Yeah, a little bit of a reaction there. And now Sandi.
A great bid. Like, just her first miss, you know, but it's like,
it happens.
Yes. Not supposed to make every single one, are we?
It looks like all of a sudden it got very still for a moment too here.
But it really wasn't. It was a pretty gusty wind. It was just swirling. So this might have been a moment where it changed. And we do have a little bit of protection right here. Tapping out some pars. Not a bad hole.
Visit quirkygoodies.com today We have over 100 fun, unique disc golf tees along with hats, stickers, metal wall art, and much more. Use code PDGA20 for 20% off.
At hole number 9, listed at 232 feet.
Yeah, this one looks like it's going to play as an island. I think a lot of us thought it was at practice, but it's not. This concrete little sidewalk in front of us is just a river. So you can lay short of the river or try to get right over here where the basket is placed. But the sidewalk behind you see there actually is an OB line, so you cannot go long. So again, just another very touchy, soft shot. So some mids and putters going in here. And just an incredible drive there, riding the wind. Looked like it was going to lift it up for a second and get it caught in the branches, but just glides it on up there.
Safe?
Yep, behind the tree, but
It's safe. Beautiful.
And that's a difficult shot, you know, to try to work it through that many trees versus kind of just the straight line at it. So nice drive by Sandi. Hyzering around this tree.
Chatty card today. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, and this is like a dream. Like when you get a card of like everyone who's just truly happy to be out there and to be cheering on everyone else on the card. Makes for a nice day in the park.
It's also easy to be happy when you're lighting up star frames with a lot of consistency, and that has to be a lot of fun for everybody too. Halfway through round number 2, still in the very early going of this 5-round major championship. Ohn Scoggins out in front. Jennifer, you're in hot pursuit. We'll see what happens on the back nine. We'll be back with back nine coverage of round 2 of the FP40 division here from the 2024 PDGA Masters Disc Golf World Championships.